We're the indie project Bee and Theo, and we've been living and travelling the world in vans for the past 6 years. We're currently renovating an abandoned stone barn in Portugal to turn into a beautiful tiny home for us and our cats Ginjey Bear and Furrnando. Follow our journey from the very beginning as we document the whole process of creating an off-grid home.
I'm up super bright and early again this morning with the sunrise. I can feel the warmth on my skin already. It's just so nice working at this time because the temperature is actually bearable, and it's the only time of the day where you get a little bit of respite from these record breaking temperatures that we're seeing at the moment. Such a good idea getting this shed. It's so much easier now to go in to an organised area and find what I'm looking for. If you remember back, we used to have the greenhouse where we're storing everything, and even in the winter it would be too hot to go in there for long periods of time to find things that you know are knocking about, but it might take you 10-15 minutes to actually find them. You come out sweltering hot. Even in the crazy heat, I can go in there for at least 5 minutes and it's just way cooler. So the goats are off exploring, which is the perfect time to do some maintenance and some work in their enclosure without disturbing them. They're having a great time foraging around the property, and I've just gone and picked up some of this timber that I'm going to use to frame off a nice little roof for this IBC tank, because as you can see it's got no roof on it, and I'm a little bit worried because goats really like jumping, and if they jump on top of here I don't want them landing in the water container. The goats are really inquisitive of what I'm actually doing in their enclosure. I'm sure they're gonna like it. This is the original IBC tank that we had on our first summer here on the property. It was so warm, and our first experience into the crazy temperatures of Central Portugal, so we needed somewhere to dip off and cool off in the day. So I cut the top off this tank, and we used to spend a lot of time in here. I just found this old roof sheeting knocking around. It's the perfect thing to actually cover the IBC tank. I don't, however, have any self-tapping screws. I looked for about 10 minutes, I couldn't find any. And what that will do is they go through the wood and allow me to fix through these wooden battens into the metal frame of the IBC, so they're nice and secure. And if the goats do get up on here, they're not going to fall through it. It's nice and secure. They might even enjoy climbing up here. I do need to cut these sheets down as well a little bit, so the overhang's not as crazy. But for now, that's a good job done this morning, and I'm going to move on to the next thing. Do you want an apple? So what I need to find in my box of goodies is this. Just to join two pieces of pipe together, because I'm going from the well pump and I've got enough length to get me to here where the gate is, which is perfect. So then I'm going to add this join on to the new pipe that I bought, and then that is going to run all the way to the new IBC tank in the goat enclosure, so they've always got plenty of water. This pipe's a little bit more flexible. I'd say in between the pipe that we ran all the way up to the 3,000 litre tank for the house, which was super solid so we can bury it in the ground. This is more flexible between that and a hose pipe, so this will be a lot easier to unravel and fill up their tank when we need to. Just going to put this joiner on. Tighten it up, and then I can cut the other pipe to length. These pipes work so much better if you have a nice clean end. No leaks whatsoever. So now the pipe's in place, this side of the piping that's in their enclosure will just really easily spindle back up and sit just outside their enclosure, so they're not tempted to chew on it or it get in the way of the goats. And then what I do, once I've cut this roof down to size, I'll just put some sort of fixing here, so I can basically put this pipe in when I need to fill up and leave it there. I can walk away, do something else, come back, tank's full.
It's so lovely to be able to come into our barn to escape the summer heat, because it does get super toasty, and in here is wonderfully cool. And it's inspired me actually to write a blog post about it, because we do get a lot of questions about the ways that we manage to stay cool during the summer here in Portugal. And we actually have our website through Squarespace, who have kindly sponsored today's video. We've had our website with Squarespace for 5 years now, and we really love the ease and simplicity of their platform. If you don't know what Squarespace is, it's a fantastic online platform where you can build and design your very own website without any experience necessary. The process is really easy as they have loads of different themes for you to choose from that you can customize completely to you. You can also see that whole process in real time so you can see whether you like it or not as you're going along. They have a whole load of different features to choose from, which is the reason why we chose to use them in the first place. We knew that when we built our website, we want loads of different things all on our platform for people to be able to find out. Having a shop on there is a great way for us to be able to share our merchandise along with our blog posts, our newsletter, and so many other things all in one place online. If you'd like to try out Squarespace and see just how fantastic it is, all you need to do is click the link in our description or head to squarespace.com/indieprojects and you can get a 2-week free trial and then a 10% discount off your first purchase of a website or a domain.
So we've got these black covers, as you can see here, to go over the tanks to stop any algae forming, and I just need to cut this cable tie and work the pipes on top of them, and then this tank will be completely clean. No algae will be growing in here. The other one's not too much of a problem, it's just literally to feed our garden and our plants, so a little bit of algae is not a problem, but this tank's going to be used for things like washing up, so we want to keep the water as clean as possible. So I've just pulled up by the big pile of stones that I've got knocking around that I used to build the house with. I've got loads left over, and what I want to do eventually, I want to build a little pump house, call it a pump house. Basically what I want to do is just build an area where the petrol pump that pumps all the water from the well can sit nicely covered over, because it's not a cheap pump. It'll be nice to keep the sun off it, keep the rain off it, and just keep it protected. So I'm going to try and pick out some stones and then stick them in the transfer box and take them down, ready for maybe one of the cooler days when I can get working on that project. So what I'm looking for is stones with a face, which basically means one side you want it to be nice and flat. I'm looking for the squarest stones possible. I don't want to make my life hard. I want this to be a simple project, and I can do it in as little stones as possible. So looking at this one here, you can see it's got a nice flat face on the front of it. That's going to be absolutely perfect. So I'm going to whack that in the transfer box, try and find a couple more so I've got some options, and then I'm ready to go. Oh, look at this. I've absolutely hit the jackpot with this stone. It's so square and perfect. That's a winner. I'm going to move the tractor over because I don't fancy carrying that. Got a lot done this morning, but today is going to be one of the hottest days on record in this area. So instead of being stupid and trying to work all day in the blistering hot sun, we're going to jump in the car and go and explore the local area and see if we can find a really cool new river beach that we've never been to before. We've just arrived at the river beach. There's plenty of cars in this car park, so I think probably everyone's got the same idea as us. Come to the river beach, cool off, because as I said, it's going to be record-breaking temperatures today. At the moment, it doesn't actually feel too bad, but here in Portugal, the hottest part of the day is generally around 4 p.m. So it's a couple of 100 meters walk to the actual pools, but before that they've got all of these really nice sheltered areas in the shade with like picnic benches, and then further over they've got like a barbecue area and stuff like that. So I can see the pools in the distance and they look beautiful. We've just arrived at where the pools are and it's so beautiful. It's a lot more man-made than any of the river beaches that we've been to before, but the natural river is coming down the valley and then it flows into this area where they've created all of these different pool sections. So there's a really good area for kids, you've got showers, you've also got a bar area serving food and cold drinks. So I'm looking forward to getting in the water, seeing how cold it is. But yeah, this is a lovely spot to spend a couple of hours. Found ourselves a lovely place to hang out for the next couple of hours. There's no one around up here. We're slightly higher up overlooking the pool. I got myself an ice lolly. Life is good. Check this out, we've got a nice granite worktop with running water. There's a barbecue section over there that we won't be using. And then over here we've even got power, but it's just a nice shaded area. And then I'm gonna go and dip in the pool in the next couple of minutes once I finish this ice lolly. This water temperature is absolutely lovely. This is definitely the warmest water out of any of the river beaches or pools that we've been to so far. And yeah, just look at the colour of it. This is all natural water coming from the stream that runs down through the valley. And we just got views of the forest. There's also a beach over there, so if you want to hang out in the sand, you can do.
I can't remember how I did it.
It was amazing. So the bar area actually had a pretty decent menu, so I've gone for the tuna toastie and chips. I'm going to eat this and then get straight back in the pool. So it's the next morning, had an amazing time at the river beach. It properly brought our core temperature down. It got to 43 degrees yesterday, which is just crazy, absolutely mental. But we survived it. It was perfectly fine. I'm so happy that we spent the time working on the barn, doing the very best insulation we could and making a veranda and a lean-to, because this summer has been so much more bearable so far. Inside the barn with a fan on is actually not too bad, so that's a big win. I managed to pick up the self-drilling screws I need from the city on the way back from the river beach. So now I'm just gonna get this roof on so I can start filling up that tank, and the goats will have plenty of water throughout the summer. So I've attached the battens and just cut down the roof sheeting to fit the top of the IBC. And it's a little bit more tricky to cut this stuff with a handsaw. Usually I would use like a circular saw or something like that, or even an angle grinder would tear through this no problem. But at the moment you can't use anything that has the chance to create a spark. So all I'm going to do now is get some screws, pop them through into the battens. This will be fastened down. Job's a good one. So the roof is now finished, it's super solid, and if a goat is to feel adventurous and jump up here, it's not going to be a problem. This could definitely hold a goat's weight or a couple of goats. So if they want to come up here and hang out for the day under the nice cork oak, they can for some shade. The good thing about the roof as well is it stops all of the leaves and the debris falling into the tank, making the water go dirty. But also I've overhung the roof, so it creates a real nice amount of shade on the tank. So in the heat of the summer, this water will stay cooler. So the last job I want to sort out is the mini pump house. Start on that, just clearing this area. There's some brambles, there's some weeds, there's some earth, and there's some stones. So if I can clear this area a little bit, then I can work out exactly how I'm going to position this big stone that I brought down from the top of the property and where it's going to go, because this mini pump house is going to be brilliant for protection of the pump and just make it last many, many years. So I've cleaned some of the brambles out the way so I can see what I've got. And it looks like this stone right here has actually fallen off the wall that surrounds the well. So really I need to get this out the way. It's not doing anything structural. It's literally just fallen from over here. And then if I can dig this out, I can put my stone in position. And the plan is to build a little roof over there and build it up a little bit so it's a little bit lower than this wall that I'm standing next to. And then I can create a nice little pitched roof and maybe put some tiles here as well just to make it look cute, because the stonework around the well is so beautiful. I want to keep, you know, the vibe going, so I'll probably use some of the old tiles that I've got with all the lichen on, and it will just blend in and look like it's always been here. So far digging, I've found a random metal bracket, a glass bottle that looks like it's from the 80s, and then a knife which looks like it's had better days. I wonder what they use this knife for. Very random. So I've just positioned the big stone in place and it looks so nice. It matches perfectly with the spiral stonework around the well. There's still a lot more to do. This is going to be a slow process building out of stone. Yeah, I could have just got some breeze blocks or concrete blocks and some cement and done it like that, but to be honest, I want this to really match and like honour the work that's gone into this property already. There's no point just doing things cheaply and easily when it can be done nicely but a little bit slower. So it is going to take a couple of weeks. I've got a lot more digging out to do. I've got a lot more stones to find, but it's going to be a really nice little pump house for the pump. I think I'm going to leave this video there. We've achieved a load again in this crazy heat, but I just got to keep on chipping away, getting up early and getting stuff done. So make sure you tune in for the next video, because I'm positive it's going to be a good one.